Honobia, Oklahoma, a small community with a big legend. For decades, this land has been the heart of one of the most enduring mysteries. Deep in the Kiamichi Mountains of southeastern Oklahoma lies Honobia, a place where the line between legend and reality grows thin. For generations, locals have told stories of a towering, shadowy figure that roams these forests. Some call it folklore, others call it fact. Hidden deep in the Kiamichi Mountains, the small community of Honobia has long been a hotspot for unexplained encounters. Over the decades, eyewitnesses from this quiet corner of Oklahoma have reported seeing and hearing something extraordinary. In January of 2000, report number 1506, a Class A encounter, was filed with the BFRO. The witness described a tall, bipedal creature crossing a rural property at dusk, leaving tracks nearly 16 inches long in the damp soil. Just a year later, in March of 2001, report number 1888 added to the growing mystery. This Class B sighting described nighttime screams echoing through the timber, a sound not quite human and not quite animal. By June of 2004, new witnesses came forward. Report number 8811 told of strange movements in the brush and heavy footsteps pacing along a remote campsite. The witnesses said they felt watched, even before they heard the low growl. Then on May 4th, another Class A encounter, report number 23733, placed the creature once again near Honobia's mountain roads. The observer described the figure's massive shoulders and fluid, human-like stride before it vanished into the trees. More recently, on August 7th, 2018, around 9:15 p.m., a hunter reported seeing a large upright figure sprint across his line of sight, covering roughly 80 yards in 4 seconds. It was visible just long enough to change his life. 5 reports, 18 years apart, all centered around the same stretch of rugged mountain forest, Honobia, Oklahoma, a place where the line between folklore and first-hand experience is often blurred, and where the legend of Bigfoot still walks beneath the pines. Once a year, this quiet stretch of Kiamichi Mountains becomes something special. A celebration of mystery, memory, and mountain pride. The Honobia Bigfoot Conference isn't just about what lurks in the woods. It's about the people who call these woods home. Here, you'll find folks who've hunted these ridges their whole lives, and swapping stories with families who drove in from 3 states away. For a weekend, the legends that once divided believers and skeptics now unite a community, one story at a time. The festival hums with a small-town heartbeat. Part country fair, part frontier campfire. Between the smell of barbecue smoke and pine sap, you'll hear laughter, guitars, and the occasional tree knock echoing from the timberline.
The tribes have their own beliefs and traditions and teachings about these creatures. There had always been historic activity reported in this area, and so that's why the conference originally got started down in this area.
Among the booths and laughter, research organizations like NoBro are here to listen and record. Every story matters. Every detail adds to the growing archive of encounters across Oklahoma.
They had local names, such as down in this area, they might have been called boogers, wood boogers, bogeyman, wood devils, mountain devils, that sort of thing.
And as the stars rise over the Kiamichis, you can feel it. That same uneasy magic that's lingered here for decades. Maybe it's just the campfire smoke, or maybe it's something watching from the edge of the dark. When the sun sets, the stories begin. Around the fire, voices rise, sharing memories, fears, and legends that have shaped this community. Some accounts are lighthearted, others leave behind a lasting chill, but all keep the mystery alive.
There's several ways to pronounce it. Honobia. Honobia, I've heard that before. But Honobia it's a Choctaw word. And Nubi, Anatobi, Nushatobi, means to kill. And to some of those translations of Honobia means crazy killer. But on the positive side, in the way she has it written on her shirt, because she has one of the older Honobia shirts. Also learning to know the word of Honobia to mean a fresh start. I had an investigation on a property for several years, and the kids kept reporting that there's a blonde woman. And that was in 2007, 8, or 9, or something like that. You ever been on a horse when it starts kind of shaking and stops and the ears go back? And it's got the decision of going forward or reverse. Then she said, "Look over there across the field," and it was blonde. About the last 5 years, I moved here. I've been in here in the hills for about close to 5 years. I live in a double wide trailer house. Had about 5 dogs one night, and dogs will bark at their shadow pretty much here in the hills. But these dogs were going so crazy, and they chased something up in the hills behind my house, up into the hills, and gone for about, I'd say, 3 to 4 minutes, and I listened to them bark, and I heard this yell, like undescribable yell. It wasn't no bear. It was like a roar, like real deep. And them dogs went quiet. 2 minutes later, they was back at the house. Whatever it was scared the out of them.
Looks up, you can see it was a very big valley with the spring and the running water on the ground. Sharon looks up and said, "Oh, I just saw a big man, and he was all hairy." And Mrs. Hughes said, "No, there's no one there. You're okay." And then Katie in the background said, "I saw him too. He was all hairy." There's no doubt in my mind that what we saw was Bigfoot. No, I wasn't. I feel like he was kind of our guardian, just making sure that we crossed the Spring Creek safely.
So around the height of the Afghan War in the 2010s, I was a Marine, an aviation Marine. And I used to work at H-1s, which is Hueys and Cobras. Whenever we were out there, we were flying over some mountainous terrain. And we were coming across a handful of clearings. The trees are very dense, and they're very tall, and it's hard to see anything around there. And so when we're looking through MVGs, we can't really see a whole lot. But whenever we look through our IR systems on the nose cone of those helicopters, Anytime you see any warm spots, like a person or an animal, it lights up. When we were flying over these clearings, we saw a very large individual that was running into the tree line. And as we do this sweep, we see this one big bright spot out there. So we close on it, of course, because this is, that doesn't look like an animal. So we close on it and we circle overhead. Based on what we saw, this large man and his face almost seemed like a little elongated, and he was really hairy. You know what? I've got to say, that really kind of turned me into a believer, because I don't know what else that could have been. That was not a man.
For the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization, or NOBRO, the search isn't about proving the impossible. It's about collecting what nature leaves behind. A print, a sound, a story. Every cast tells a part of the mystery. A reminder that some legends leave footprints. Evidence like this keeps the hunt alive. A bridge between eyewitness accounts and the tangible world. It's the science of curiosity, and in places like Honobia, curiosity runs deep. For years, it was known as the Honobia Bigfoot Conference, a name that echoed through these hills like the stories themselves. But time brings change, and now the legend has a new home. They call it Bigfoot at the 40, named for these 40 sacred acres, where believers and skeptics stand side by side beneath the same sky, all searching for a glimpse of something bigger than themselves. Maybe the mystery isn't about what's hiding in the woods, but about what keeps us coming back to them.